Do not think that I have come to bring peace, but the sword. Interesting words coming from the Prince of Peace. Are they not? Sometimes Jesus seems to make these contradictory statements. The antiphon for the gospel is, "Blessed are you when they persecute you, insult you, and utter every kind of evil against you because of me." Part of the Beatitudes. And one of the Beatitudes is what? Blessed are the peacemakers. So how can Jesus be the Prince of Peace and tell us that blessed are the peacemakers, and then on the same hand say that I have not come to bring peace? I think what we need to understand, first and foremost, is the context in which Jesus is giving these remarks. He's in the process of sending out his apostles to go out into the towns and villages and continue the gospel message, to spread the message far and wide. And he's letting them know what to expect. If you read right before this part of the gospel, Jesus describes that you should be as wise as serpents and as gentle as doves. He also says that a servant can no be greater than their master, or a disciple is great when they become like their teacher. In other words, he's saying, the way they treat me, expect the same thing for yourself. But not everyone will be too thrilled with this message, and that it will lead to division. But the ultimate purpose is to draw people in. In fact, it's to reveal the division that's already there. Sometimes we do a good job of hiding things and putting them under the rug, don't we? Out of sight, out of mind, pretend like everything's okay, but the fractures are still there, and the gulf only widens with time. Jesus comes as the light to the world to reveal the truth that sometimes is hard to say. Those divisions are already there. The purpose of Jesus is to heal them. But the question becomes, how do we heal? How do we find peace? Now, I was reflecting on what kind of metaphor to share with you on this, and I kept coming up with all different kinds, so I'll share just a couple. But let's imagine that all of us here decide that we're going to go outside and we're going to play soccer, all right? I know the knees might not be ready for it, but let's just imagine. We're going to go out and we're going to play soccer, and half of you on one team and half of you on the other, and we begin playing, and then all of a sudden, you pick up the ball and start running with it. Well, you can't do that. And they say, well, in the way that I play soccer, you can. And all of a sudden you realize that not everybody is playing the same game. What do you do in that situation? You call on a referee, don't you? Somebody who understands the rules of the game. And you appeal to them. What are the rules of the game? And we all have to agree on those rules, otherwise we cannot play. And the only thing that can come from it is confusion, division, anger. Some people want to play one way, some people want to play another. You need to have a set of rules. Now, within the confines of those rules, we can have disagreements on what kind of plays we want to make, what style of game we want to play. But if we don't have a basic structure to the game, then everything falls apart. The problem is there's no rule book for life, is there? Some people use the Bible as a rule book, but the problem is that each one of our lives presents unique difficulties, doesn't it? Some things are not clearly answered. And also, people aren't usually too thrilled when you come up to them and say, here, you need to read this rule book. doesn't inspire a lot of confidence or a lot of desire for transformation, does it? Nobody wants to follow a rule book when it comes to our life. So now I was thinking of another metaphor. Let's say that a group of us are going to go on a trip and we're going to a place that none of us have ever been to before. And I'm driving, and the rest of you all decide you want to be backseat drivers. And everybody has a different idea of how to get to where we're going. Causes conflict and division, doesn't it? Now, how do we decide whose way is the right way? Now, let's suppose we don't have a map. I mean, we can all decide that we'll take a vote for it, but what if there's no clear winner? There won't be much peace in that car, will there? People constantly yelling over each other, you should have turned here, you should have turned there, we're lost, no, we're not. Fighting. Now let's imagine something changes. Somebody comes and joins our group, and they tell us, where you're going is my home. It's where I'm from. And I have come here to show you how to get there. Now imagine, in that moment, will there be fighting or division? Because we're not following a map any longer. We're not following a rule book. We're not arguing with each other about what the best way to do is. We're following the one who knows. See, that's the difference between following a rule book and following a person. And our Christian faith is not about following a rule book. It's not about giving people a map that lays out their life for them. It's about inviting them to a person that knows how to get there. And him walking along beside you along the way. See, the only way that peace can come into this world is when we know the Prince of Peace. The one who knows where we're going. Because it's his home. It's where he's from. And he's come to show us the way. Sisters and brothers, when Jesus sends out his disciples, he sends them out to preach in his name. Those who receive you, receive me. Those who receive me, receive the one who sent me. It's about encounter. It's about coming to know a person who knows and has wisdom that is far beyond us, who knows the unique situations in each person's life that no rule book could ever answer, and knows how to speak to the heart of each individual person, knows what they're longing for, knows where they are lost, and knows the way. And so, sisters and brothers, as we come before this altar, let us give God thanks and praise that he has come and found us, that he continues to show us the way, and that we bring him and bring all those around us to come and meet him, so that in peace we can follow him home.